Right now, we're talking with former Celina Bulldog. He's done well. He's at San Diego State University. I think you're the associate athletic director of what? You get to raise money for that school, don't you, right now, Bobby?
That is my daily activity, trying to raise money. I'm the associate athletic director for development, and been in this position for 7 years. But prior to that, I'm a total of 13 years here at San Diego State now.
And we are talking to Bobby Moosbrugger. I didn't know if I did that. We've been talking before we went on the air, having a good time. Bobby, how does a guy from Celina end up in San Diego State? I mean, you are at a school that is really doing well. The basketball team right now is doing well. I think your football team went to a bowl game. You're in the Mountain West Conference, and you're in a beautiful location. You did good, bud.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Actually, growing up in Celina, I love Celina and still do. However, one summer I had a chance to spend some time in Tucson, Arizona, and I knew I wanted to be out west. So, I went to Bowling Green State University, my undergraduate, and part of my undergraduate degree I had to do an internship. I did that internship at Ball State, worked at Ball State for a couple years in beautiful Muncie, Indiana.
Yeah.
And did some phone interviews with Colorado State, Fresno State, and also had an opportunity to stay at Ball State. Fresno State offered me a job, and I was 22 years old at the time, and said, "I'm moving to California."
Yeah.
And I knew Fresno was a Midwest city in the middle of California. Fresno is a huge agricultural area. They have the most fruits and nuts and everything growing there. So I was in Fresno for 4 years, 96 to 2000. And then a friend of mine that I hired at Fresno State actually was down here at San Diego State and convinced me and hired me down here. So it's strange how the athletics world works. I hire a guy at Fresno State, then he hires me at San Diego State. And I've been in San Diego since 2000, and it's certainly a tough place to leave.
How did you get into the financial side, Bobby? I know that you had a really good athletic career at Celina, and also you walked on and played great baseball at Bowling Green. But how did you get on that? Was it because of your ticket experience when you went to Ball State?
Well, quite frankly, I was actually doing a informational interview with a young man yesterday who wants to get in athletics, and I told him my story. And it all started actually at Celina Senior High. Instead of going to study hall, I worked for Mike Hyland in his athletic director's office, and did some contracts for him, and talked sports with him and whatnot. And then at Bowling Green, after 2 years of baseball, realizing that I wasn't going to be a number one draft pick, I decided I really need to concentrate on my academics, and Bowling Green, my major, sport management, required you to work some internships. So I started working in the Bowling Green State Athletic Department in ticketing, and also did marketing. Ball State did ticketing. And then at Fresno State, I was hired as the assistant ticket manager. After about a year and a half of being the assistant ticket manager at Fresno State, the ticket manager left and started working for the Bulldog Foundation in development. And I became the ticket manager at Fresno State. And for the next year and a half, he kept telling me, "You need to get out of ticketing and get into development." And so the opportunity arose at San Diego State, and decided, it was quite frankly a lateral move to move from being a ticket manager at Fresno State to being assistant director of the Aztec Club here at San Diego State. But definitely knew I wanted to get into development work. It's really rewarding. Our number one priority is to raise money for our student-athlete scholarships. We grant over $7 million a year to our student-athletes in financial aid, and our goal is to cover that $7 million privately. Last year we had our best year ever. We raised $4 million towards that scholarship goal. Overall, we raised about $11 million for the department, but 4 of it went towards scholarships.
And I know it's very, it's a tough world out there because there's a lot of things going on in San Diego. You got football and pro football and baseball, but you also have all of California trying to get that money too, don't you?
Absolutely. There is a great alumni base here. But like you said, we have the Padres, we have the Chargers, so the entertainment dollar is stretched thin here. And then also, we have some great nonprofit philanthropic organizations here. There's a lot of great research being done in the biotech industry. Some of our best donors have given $10 million to cardiovascular research, $10 million to diabetes research, and they're very supportive of athletics. Those dollars are making a difference in the world, so you can't fault them for that. You just hope they remain supportive of San Diego State athletics, and we'll take whatever we can get. But it's challenging, but every day I enjoy coming to work, and every challenge is an opportunity. So,
and
a lot of fun.
The nice thing about you is I followed you a little bit on Facebook and things. You get to go on some road trips with the teams and hang out with guys like Steve Fisher, a legend in college basketball. And how do you like, coming up at Celina? We both lived in Celina for a long time. You just always saw those people on TV. You never got to see them in person. Now you're probably most likely friends with a lot of those guys.
Yeah, no question. It's in this business you meet some very interesting people. I remember sitting in my dorm room at Bowling Green State University and watching the late ESPN game and then San Diego State playing.
Yep.
They had this running back that was running all over the field, Marshall Falk, and he's highly involved here. It's great to know him, not only as a supporter of athletics, but as a friend. I went to his Hall of Fame induction ceremonies in Canton. Took my good buddy Dan Pfeiffer to those ceremonies, and it was quite entertaining. Coach Fisher is one of a kind. He's a true gentleman. He came into this program when we were not very good in basketball. His first season, they won 5 games. He was out. He talked to 100 Rotary groups, Kiwanis clubs, anybody that would listen to him. He talked to him that first year, trying to generate interest in San Diego State basketball. He walked the campus trying to get students to come to the games, and now we have quite possibly one of the greatest home arena environments in the country. Our student section is called The Show, and they have a lot of fun with that. So it's been quite a turnaround. I was at Fresno State with Jerry Tarkanian. That was quite the experience. So athletics has provided me an opportunity to meet not only our coaches and student athletes, but some of the people that I worked with who support San Diego State athletics. They're very successful business people, and it's interesting to learn from somebody every day.
And if you survived hanging out with Danny Pfeiffer when you were a kid, you guys did both good, didn't you? And I'm surprised because you guys were a little ornery in those younger days, weren't you, Bobby?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, Dave.
You know what? I loved you guys. You had the biggest smile of anybody I ever saw. You'd come up and you would smile. And let me go back real quick to when you played football, right? Did you not run back a kick at Wapakoneta one night in a punt? You did something big at Wapakoneta one night, and it was a big deal, wasn't it?
It was kind of cool. It was not that I
remember it.
Memories. Not that I think about this every day, but yeah, it was a second half kickoff. We were getting. It was a tight game. Wapakoneta was just pounding the ball, and they kept throwing a 5-yard out on me, and they just kept driving down the field. And so we got the kickoff in the start of the second half. Caught it at the 20, and 11 seconds later, it was a touchdown for the Bulldogs, and kind of changed the momentum of the game. So it was pretty special. And my other good friend Travis Garkey a few years ago put all those videotapes that we had of all those games with your commentary, and he put them all on DVDs.
Nice.
And so we have those, and every now and then we'll to make my kids laugh, we'll bust it out and show them a few plays, and they'll giggle and laugh at me. But hopefully it's inspiring them to do well as well.
Can they sing "Happy Days Are Here Again" yet?
They get a kick out of that song.
Yeah. One of those good times, Bobby, back then? One of those good times?
It's you look back on your years, and absolutely your high school years are some of the best times of your life. I'm 41 years old now and have 2 children, and you have to be an adult, and there's tough times, and you look back to the simpler times, and it was a lot of fun. I'm kind of living through my kids' sports now. 10 and 8-year-old boys, 2 boys who play soccer, basketball, baseball. I haven't let them play football yet. They did play flag football this year, but you relive some of those memories, and it's a lot of going back to your childhood is always fun to think about.
And you had some good people in your life in athletics. You had Coach Harris, and you also had Mike Hyland, those people like that helped guided you through some of those athletic things that got you where you're at today. I think you mentioned Mike earlier.
Yeah, definitely. Mike helped me out sat me down in his office, and not because I was in trouble, but I just had an interest in what he was doing, and he would say today that I only did it because I took every single, when you were a letterman, you got a pin for the sport that you played.
Yes.
And on my letterman's jacket, I had a pin for every sport since I had access to his closet. I lettered in tennis, swimming and diving, everything. But no, seriously, he helped me out. Told me what he was doing, and I really thought I wanted to be a high school athletic director until I heard some of the parents calling in and talking to him. So that's when I probably decided I probably should stay in college athletics. But like you said, Jerry Harris, what a great coach he was, and unfortunately, I only played football for 1 year and got to learn from him for 1 year. The late Mick Gabus was my position coach.
Yep.
A great man and a great teacher. I had him as a science teacher. Bruce Boley, baseball. Bruce Boley, Tom Gillis, and Tom Brunswick were all great baseball coaches for me. And one guy actually is a St. Henry baseball coach, but he was my summer baseball coach for American Legion, John Dorner. Who
just wasn't the Hall of Fame. Just wasn't the Hall of Fame, Bobby.
Now Hall of Famer. So I got to reach out to him and congratulate him. But, all those people shape your lives, and, the people of Celina shape your life. It was such a small-knit community that, I would talk to other parents, and they would pat you on the back and tell you you're doing good. So, there's a lot to be said about a small community and rallying around, the youth of that community and trying to teach them and help them get in the right direction.
And before I let you go, when Wyoming plays San Diego State, Celina reunion time, Mike Bath, of course, going to be an assistant coach there, and you're at San Diego State. That'll make it a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I'm congratulating Mike over Facebook, and he played with my younger brother, and we were leaving high school when he was coming up. We used to call him Young Gun.
Yes.
Because he was a young kid with a big cannon of an arm. And certainly they had some great years with him there, and look forward to seeing him when we get over to Wyoming. Don't really look forward to going to Laramie, Wyoming. It's usually cold there, but it is a beautiful part of the country. I was actually just in Utah, and just a couple hours from the Wyoming border, and it is a beautiful part of the country, but I'm certainly happy for him. There's another guy, he's not in the Mountain West, but Kurt Potcutter is at SMU. He's pretty much the same role I have at SMU. And so there's a few of us Celina guys out here, and look forward to getting in touch with those guys and seeing them when we play each other.
Well, it's always fun to look back and talk with you, and congratulations on what you've done, Bobby, and we'll have to keep updated every so often if that's okay.
That would be my pleasure, and I learned this at Fresno State. Jim Sweeney was the head football coach there, and he had a saying, Bulldog born, Bulldog bred, be a Bulldog till the day you're dead. So that's flying a Bulldog for me.
Yeah.
And can't forget your roots, and certainly a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for catching up with me, and wish you continued success in your business.
Thank you. We both got green blood in us, don't we, buddy?
No question. I don't have the green shoes, but I got green blood.
Attaboy. Thanks again. We've been
talking.
talking.
A song for us?
Happy days are here again. The green and white will win again. And we're marching down the field again. Happy days are here again. How's that, Bobby?
That was spectacular.
I just did that for you.
I'm going to have to download that and somehow make that my ringtone.
Oh, you know what? I'll cut that out and send it to you so you just have that part. How's that?
That sounds great.
Hey, we've been talking with Bobby Moosbrugger, a good friend, fellow Celina Bulldog, now at San Diego State University, and you've been listening to the StatelineSportsHub.com.